doobie.
And now, you are listening to the Team Heel Podcast, live, brought to you by Spreadshirt.com, with Heel Steven, Non-Legit Wrestling, OKFabe, and Chase Oliver, ready to shoot the shit with each and every one of you live.
Things are changing in the world that we live in, and they say you gotta get with the times, so I don't think you guys are ready for this. I don't think you guys are ready for the new setup that you're about to see. And I've taken a lot of consideration by a lot of people, to embrace change, to get used to certain things. And again, I don't think they're ready for this. I don't think they're ready for what they're about to see here. I mean, if I want to, I could just show you guys Paige all day. You guys will just have a fucking orgasm for all intents and purposes, right? But I don't think they're ready. Guys, this is episode 164 of the Team Heel Podcast, live here on YouTube.com. I thank you all for tuning in tonight live. If you're watching us live or listening to us live here on the YouTube channel, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hit this with a big old thumbs up. Share this through social media. What the fuck are you waiting for? Now, if you can't catch us live, guess what? It's not the end of the world. All right? This podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, and also over at SoundCloud. And again, guys, I don't think you guys are ready for the new layout. Are you guys ready for the new layout? Are you guys ready to see what's the new layout going to be? Because I know, again, a lot of you did not like the old one, what have you. And again, changes happen, and it is what it is. All right? Here we go. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for the new layout? And I want to ask you guys, once you see this new layout, let me know in the comments. Do you like this new layout? Let me know, all right? And yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and ta-da! So this is the new layout for the TEAMHEEL Podcast, guys. I want to know from you guys. I want some honest, constructive criticism, all right, of this new, beautiful layout, if you will. Again, guys, thank you all tonight for tuning in live. As always, I am Peruvian Strong Style himself. I am Chef Heel. I am that fat fuck they call Heel Steven. And I'm not alone here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined here by two awesome people. First and foremost, I am joined here by my brother from another mother, one of the founding fathers of this humble little podcast as well, the one, the only, Cousin Walter, Non-Legit Wrestling. Cousin Walter, I knew you'd come.
Well, of course I'm here, I missed out last week, so I had to show up at least for this week.
Of course you did, bro. How you been, bro? How's school treating you? How's college treating you, dude? How does it feel? Let me ask you a question, dude, more than anything. I know you're happy more than anything. And no, we're not talking about CM Punk getting his ass kicked. I know you're happy for something even bigger than that. You're happy because your beloved Giants finally won the first game of the season after how many years?
It hasn't been that long, I think.
Shit,
I'm
not a football expert, but damn, bro.
But it's just good. A win's a win. The Cowboys, had a chance to win at the end, I know. But it's a good start, finally. And I'm hoping for a better season. Their defense looked a lot better. So, it's all about what happens with Eli and Mr. Odell Beckham Jr.
Exactly, dude. And
Cruz was back, so
right.
It was awesome to see him back.
Exactly. And we're also joined here, guys. Guess what? It's a lady. That's right. It's a lady here. Ooh, it's a woman. She is one of the co-hosts of an upcoming podcast you guys should definitely go check out. Links in the description box for the iTunes link and the Stitcher link as well. The Wrestling World Podcast Network. Dory, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on, Steven. I really appreciate it.
Exactly. Now, Dory, for those people out there who may not be familiar with your podcast, let them know what it's about and how long you guys been around.
So we're actually still fairly new in the podcast game. We've been around since I'd say I think it's the beginning of June, maybe mid-June. And what we are is we're actually a network of podcasts where we have a bunch of different kinds of personalities on our podcast, and we do reviews on all the different kinds of wrestling that are out there. New Pro Japan, we do Strong Style, we do WWE. So for WWE, we have a Raw show, a SmackDown show, NXT show. We do an awesome TNA show called Let's Talk. Let me talk to you.
I
We
like
do
that.
reviews on old pay-per-views. We're doing new stuff coming up soon on our YouTube channel. So there's a ton of stuff going on. And if you love wrestling and you're looking for something, covering WWE content or something that's not WWE, we pretty much almost have it all.
That's right, guys. If you want to go check it out, link is down below in the description box. You can find them on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Where else can they find you guys at? Let them know, Dory.
We are also on Google Play, and we're also on Fans Talk. So if you go on fanstalk.com, we're actually also included on there, and we're going to be having our podcasts on SoundCloud through Fans Talk. So we're kind of a little bit all over the place.
That's fantastic. I think at the end of the day, it's about podcasters helping other podcasters get out there at the end of the day. Thank you, Straight Shooter. By the way, this t-shirt, you're seeing me wearing right now, you can get over at a Spreadshirt store, teamheelpodcast.spreadshirt.com. This and numerous other shirts. We ship all over the world as well. If you go up to 5XL. That's one of the many ways you can support this podcast. Now, if you want to go that extra mile to do so, support the Team Heel Podcast by going over to patreon.com/Team Heel Podcast. Become a patron today. Get yourself some cool rewards, cool perks in the process. What are you waiting for? Go out there, do what you got to do. Also, before we begin the show, I want to give another plug here as well for an up-and-coming channel that's made a return to YouTube after being gone for a very long time. FNTureWrestling. I know a lot of you may not be familiar with them. A lot of you old school heads might be. They've been around a long time ago. I want to say around 2010, 2011, 2012. Part of 13. They've been around on YouTube. They have numerous wrestling videos. What have is Brian Crazy and JC Styles. All right. They've been around for a while. We've actually had Brian Crazy as a guest on this podcast many, many, many years ago. Walter, remember back in the day, the old podcast form we had? We had like 10 people on a Skype call. Remember that?
Yeah, that was some crazy times.
Indeed, yeah, it was. And we had him as a guest on the show. Unfortunately, due to YouTube BS, it got taken down with a channel that used to be on back in the day. So, unfortunately, it's no longer in existence. However, they're back. Links down below in the description. YouTube.com/FNTureWrestling. Click on it. Give them a subscribe. Check them out. You'll enjoy them. And as well, you'll enjoy the Wrestling News Podcast Network. All right, guys. Getting that out all the way. It's been a crazy week in the world of professional wrestling and as well in the world of combat sports. It's crazy to see what love can do to you, right? Right? So,
Yeah.
apparently people were under the whole speculation that Paige was literally on her way out of WWE because one, Alberto Del Rio was out of WWE. Apparently he got his release. So, a lot of people were saying that, Paige is on her way out. Paige is leaving. She's not coming back to WWE. And it's pretty much the end of Paige, right? And overall, it was crazy because apparently apparently Paige was at a press conference with Del Rio at a Hooters of all places, at a fucking Hooters in Mexico.
That's where it was? At a Hooters?
Yeah, in Hooters,
You
yeah.
gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, apparently. In Hooters. Listen, I love Hooters. Who doesn't love Hooters? Walter, how many times have you been to Hooters in your life?
A couple times.
Now, I'll be real. I've
guess.
been to Hooters. What about you, Dora? I'm sorry, Dora.
No. Never been to Hooters, sorry.
You've never been to Hooters in your life?
I guess I don't know what I'm missing out on, right? Like,
You're
The food is
missing.
pretty good.
The food
Yeah.
is amazing. The burgers are amazing. The wings are amazing. I mean, until Buffalo
Well,
Wild Wings came, of course, but still. The food,
I'm up north, and I guess they're not as popular up here. Like, we get cold, so maybe our women wear more clothes while they bust tables. I have no idea.
Exactly. But anywho, apparently people were saying that Paige was gone. Paige was no longer with WWE. people were giving her shit on social media, how she let love take control. And don't get me wrong, she has done some stupid things. In case you guys don't know, she got a tattoo on the side of her, I guess on the side of her stomach, saying, with the tattoo saying Alberto. Yes, you guys heard about that? The tattoo on the side. I'm sure you heard
Yeah,
about.
it was on the side of her rib cage, like kind of right under where her bra would probably sit.
Yeah.
It's kind of hidden.
Yeah, it's hidden. But Walter, did you see this tattoo, by the way? Apparently, she uploaded it on her Instagram page and she deleted it.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know, man.
Here's my thing overall. Listen, I understand. Listen, love can be a very, very strong thing, a strong bond. When you care for somebody, you will do crazy things. You will do things that you think you thought you would never do. And I'll be one to admit I've done some things for the person that I cared for that I thought I would never do. And I did those because I cared for that person. You know what I mean? I would do anything to make that person happy. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think a tattoo with the person's name on it, or the person's name, that's a reach. That to me says that he or she is the one, and you really take that next step to that next level. You know what I mean?
Well, don't you think it's just kind of weird that she's absolutely in love with him, but she's not going to leave and support him through him leaving WWE? Like, to me, yes, a tattoo's nice, but she's going to be like completely separated from him. They're not going to be on the road together. Like, you, which do you think is a more of a show of love, a tattoo, or standing behind your man and leaving with him?
I think standing behind, the person you care for, but at the same time, you got to remember though, Paige is locked into a contract for the next couple of years. Granted, there's been reports of her trying to get legal representatives to get her out of that contract, out of that bind. But, and let's say at the end of the day, listen, she's only 24? Mm-hmm. She has a whole life ahead of her.
She's still young. Her main goal was to, be a professional wrestler and wrestle at the top company. And I know, love is strong and stuff, but you still want to, do the job that you always wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And, Alberto's nice and all, so
I just have a question for you guys. What do you think will play out on Total Divas? Because originally he was on the show for the next season of Total Divas, and now because he's not part of the company, do you think they just don't show anything, or do you think he's gonna actually show the interaction between him and Paige?
Oh, they'll show it. They'll definitely show it.
Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, you can't change anything at this point in the juncture. You're not gonna go out there and just edit everything out. You can't. Again,
just Paige doesn't exist for 6 months.
Exactly. And besides, delete. Speaking of, we'll get into that also in just a little bit. Also, we'll get into that. But other than that, listen. End of the day, apparently Paige. What am I saying end of the day for? I keep saying that. I don't know why. I just keep on fucking.
It's not even the end of the day. It's like 7:30. Come on.
7:30.
I know. Depends though. So all the European listeners out there, we do have some out there from across the pond. It's already the end of the day.
Come on.
But anywho, Paige wrote this huge thing on her Twitter. Apparently, I guess she got it on her iPhone, and I guess there's that note app where you can type long and then take a screenshot of it and post it on her Twitter. Mm-hmm. This is what she wrote, and I quote, regarding her future with WWE and what have you, right? And apparently also the drug test she failed. I called it a suspension. All right. Apparently she wrote this. Let me begin by saying that the rumors that I'm leaving WWE are completely false, Paige wrote. I'm certainly looking forward to returning back to action at some point once my injuries is treated and on a healthy return. But this is what she wrote, though, in this long blog on her note, I guess on her iPhone, like I said. And I quote, "First, I'd like to thank all my fans for their love and support the last few weeks. Let me begin by saying that the rumors that I'm leaving the WWE are completely false. I certainly look forward to returning back to action at some point once my injury is treated and on a healthy return. Although I was disappointed by my suspension, I respected WWE's wellness policy. However, let me be clear that I was not suspended for failing a drug test. It was mercifully due to a procedural issue. I apologize if I'm botching pronunciations, okay? Bear with me here, all right? Just saying. I took the test. I passed it. I arranged said test to happen after I wasn't at my home when Aegis contacted me, so I drove 200 miles to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't do it in time. According to Aegis, once again, thank you for all the love and support. End quote.
So that's such a weird technicality. Like, when it came out that Hornswoggle failed his wellness policy because he couldn't pee in a cup, and now we're having some of our top stars like Paige fail because she didn't get it done in a specific time frame. Like, she drove how far to go pee in a
Two.
cup for them, and it still wasn't good enough. Like, to me, some of these rules are so weird. And then you have people like Brock Lesnar who aren't even getting tested, but then somebody like Paige who literally drives 200 miles to go pee in a cup is still getting suspended. Like, can somebody explain to me how this makes any sense?
That's WWE for you. What can I say?
It's just ridiculous. Like, I feel so bad for her. And on top of that, she has an injury too. So it's just like
Yeah.
this girl's getting hit hard with everything at once.
Exactly. And then love. Hey, love. The so-called love of your life is leaving or is already out the door, and all you're doing is sitting there at a Mexican Hooters, being the
Eating
only
some awesome wings.
English girl there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but I think the WWE needs Paige in a way, especially Raw, because you don't want Bailey, Charlotte, and Sasha to fight each other every freaking week now. You want Paige to be there, maybe put over Nia Jax. I don't know.
But see, that's the thing. Like, even the months leading up to this, I know it came out on Total Divas that Paige kind of had a little bit of a breakdown because of something that was going personal. But like, I can't think of anything in the last, I'd say, 8 months that she's done that's been pertinent. Like, they really haven't been using her, which is a real shame. Like, this whole like women's revolution, like Paige was kind of left behind.
Because you know
So
what it
even
is,
when
though?
she does come back, like, what are they gonna do with her?
You know what it is too. You gotta keep this in mind too. They did so much with her already. You gotta remember, she debuted on the. Listen, she was an FCW developmental when she was like 18 years old. And I remember back in the day, people been wanting her to debut on the main roster when she was like 19 or 18. I remember hearing people back in 2013 wanting Paige on the main roster when she was in FCW, which then became NXT.
So are you saying that she's pretty much hit the pinnacle of her career already?
Think about this. When she remember her debut on the main roster the day after WrestleMania 30, she won the title. She won the title. Not only that, but she won it 3 times. Keep this in mind. She's not even 30 yet, so she's already reached the pinnacle. Granted, it's a butterfly belt, but still, you are quote unquote women's champion. You are a champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think in some way, shape, or form, she already reached the pinnacle of her career, and it's great. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, she can still have these great matches with such as Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Asuka, Bayley. But as far as her like trying to get a title or anything like that, I just don't see it happening, to be honest.
Well, it's just a shame because she's such a great technical wrestler, and right now we have so many great wrestlers in the ring, and I want to see them kind of maybe revamp her when she comes back.
Me too.
I think she's gonna get pushed, but like it's not gonna be anything serious. Like she'll have some nice programs, I'd assume. Like they're not just gonna completely bury Paige. I mean they probably will, but I hope they don't. Have some nice programs, or you could have a lot of good programs for Paige. She's like I guess a veteran there, even though she's mad young. She's definitely been in the main roster more than most of those divas.
And it just kind of feels too like this revolution was kind of built for somebody like Paige, who goes against the norm and goes against what a diva used to be. And I feel like she's just gonna become a lower to mid card to lower wrestler when she does come back, which is a shame because she should be fighting, the Charlottes and the Sasha Banks. But again, I think if she does go back to Raw, I think she'd have a better opportunity going on to SmackDown.
I agree
to
with
kind
that.
of shine.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially now. We can think about this right now. SmackDown, as much as you want right now, yes, they have Nikki Bella, they have that veteran, they have Natalia, they have Naomi, they have the veterans, if you will, of that women's division. And then you have the young girls. You have the Carmella, the Alexa Blisses, who personally think Carmella's a little green in the ring, to be honest with you guys. You have Becky, who's like the top girl right now. She has the belt, obviously, right? And I guess if you want to factor in Eva Marie, you can add Paige to the mix. Hey, listen, say what you want. I'm calling it right now. Eva Marie is gonna take that title from Becky Lynch. I'm calling it right now. You heard it here first when that shit happens. They're gonna
So
bring from
here's the
Conk.
thing, though. If they did move her to SmackDown, like she's done both. She's been a face and a heel. Do you think they would push her more to be a heel or a face on SmackDown if they decided to move her, or
I
do you think she'd be a tweener?
I see it's winner right now. She can do both.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think?
yeah,
What do you think, cousin? What do you think?
that's a tough one. I mean, they do have their top two faces already, Becky Lynch and Nikki, so I would assume a heel.
See, I don't know about you, but I would love to see her in a tag team with Alexa Bliss, man. Those two, between the funky ass makeup and the outfits, shit, be
This
entertaining.
is my house. You know what's funny though? You know what's funny? Apparently, Del Rio's booked to wrestle in the UK for Paige's parents' promotion.
Yeah, that was the first place he actually came
So
out
you,
with the thing that he was gonna work for.
so you already know that's his house now. That's his house now. Shit, I'm
That's
just
how
saying.
you know he's good with the parents, man, because you don't go and work for your mother and father-in-law unless they
I would
like
not.
you,
Yeah, I can
right?
never do that. I can never do that. You know what I mean? I can never do that. You know what I mean? But other than that, listen, for Paige though, honestly, listen, I hope she knows what she's doing. I wish nothing but the happiness in her life. I really do, believe me. Again, when you love someone, when you care for someone, you do crazy things. You know what I mean? Especially a tattoo. Because to me personally, when I think of a tattoo, it has to have a certain meaning. It has to have. It has to remind you of a moment in your life. You know what I mean? Like for me, one day I want to get a tattoo is a chef knife on my
See,
on my
that's
forearm.
smart though. Like you're not gonna go get like your third grade teacher's name tattooed on you though.
Miss
Like
Manly, right? Miss Manly on my trap. Miss Manly with a heart. I'm not doing that.
I think that she's gonna fall and she's gonna fall hard, and
Yeah.
she's so young, and he's coming off of a divorce, well, or is in a divorce, and we've seen how Paige can be emotionally. She's been engaged and just ended that. I'm worried about her emotionally because I feel like this is not gonna end well for her.
I guarantee you on that as well. But you know what though? We'll let things go. We'll let things flow, if you will. Well, let's see. We'll see what time tells us regarding Paige. But what I want to read to some of the comments here. Paige is born by the angry mark. Oh, please wait. WWE is not serious about Eva Marie being SmackDown Women's Champion by Straight Shooter. Did you know that Eva Marie did striptease on TV show 1 year before coming to WWE? How come WWE didn't fire her already for that? I have no idea, man. Again,
Okay,
WWE logic.
I need to get this off my chest. I'm sorry.
Shoot away, man. Shoot away, girl.
Heel Dory. So I fucking hate Eva Marie. I'm sorry.
You're not the listen.
I
You're
know,
not.
I
You're not the
know,
only one.
I know I'm supposed to hate her because that's what they're kind of building her to. But as a person, like from what I've seen of her off of WWE TV and just in her personality, the way she carries herself, the things she's trying to promote and the image she's trying to create, I hate it. Like she's everything that was wrong with the old division. She's the epitome of what a diva is. It's these women who were brought in that were swimsuit models and sports and cheerleaders, and it's just like, you know what? Like, yes, okay, she's been trying to work on her ring stuff. Power to her for trying to get better, but they're giving her all this spotlight and all this time, and why? You can build somebody else who you already have on the roster
You know
that
why?
can wrestle to be a heel. We do not need another friggin' diva on TV. We need women's wrestlers and people who
And
can
I
back
and
up
I
their shit.
and I agree with you on that. But you know what it is too. It goes back to the whole Roman dilemma as well. The reason why they pushed Roman to the and I get it. People were saying at the time Cesaro, Ambrose, what have you, what have you, what have you. To be the guy, to be the top guy in that room. But it was the reason why because Roman was made in their system. Roman was made into the so is Eva Marie. When you think about it, Eva Marie was made in their developmental system from scratch.
Yeah. Again, so was Roman Reigns, but I didn't have as much of an issue with Roman Reigns as I did with Eva Marie because, yes, okay, Roman isn't the greatest performer in the ring. He's gotten a lot better, but he's never tried to
And I
just
hear
to
you.
kind of cover. Like he's never been like, oh, like he's always been true to who he was. He was a football star and he's learning how to wrestle. And but with Eva Marie, every time I used to see her in the ring, it's just, oh my God, like I have a 12-year-old niece who could probably wrestle better than her.
I hear, but it goes back to what I was saying though. They want people to be the top people from their developmental system. That's what they want. And Eva Marie, and I get it, is not who you like. It personally not my cup of tea either. But at the end of the day, she was made in their system. What were you saying, bro?
But Carmella was made in their system. Carmella used to be a professional cheerleader.
Yeah, but
she started wrestling in their developmental. And look at how many miles ahead of Eva Marie she is.
Yeah, but the thing about it though is that Carmella's not on Total Divas yet. Eva Marie is, so they want that spotlight on those. That's the unfortunate part about it.
That's pretty much why I think they hired her.
Total Divas.
We found out about her first on Total Divas. And she wasn't really aspiring to be a wrestler at all. I think what happened was, I guess WWE saw her somewhere. I don't know the story about it, and I guess they liked what they saw, and I think they asked if she wanted to be on the show, and she was.
I just have no love lost for her not being on TV. If she wants to go do these charity functions, that kind of stuff, fine. Or make her a valet. I'm over her, and I really don't want her to come back. Whereas for Paige, I'm craving for her to come back.
Listen, I know for a fact deep down you're gonna lose your shit the moment she wins that belt from Becky Lynch.
Oh, I'm going to throw shit through my TV probably.
Listen. They're gonna from Concord, California. All red everything. The new SmackDown champion, women's champion, Eva Marie.
And then she's gonna take like a 6-month hiatus because she can't wrestle for some reason.
I don't know. But
she'll be like, look, I'm taking a 6-month vacation to go do modeling pictures. Bye, guys.
But you know what though? I don't. Where does it get to Eva Marie? I didn't want it to go to Eva Marie. How did it go from? See, went from Paige to Eva Marie. The standard just went low, just like that, ladies and gentlemen, here on the TEAMHEEL podcast. But I'll tell you one thing though, Eva Marie could last in the ring longer than 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Oh,
you know, I'm Walter. Dory, I don't know if you saw this past Saturday, but one former WWE superstar, known as at one time the best in the world, Mr. Phillip Brooks or CM Punk, made his Octagon debut.
This whole thing is just so disappointing to me. Like, I'm happy that he had his debut, but at the same time, it was so disappointing.
I know. Here's the thing about it, okay? I look at it from two sides. As many of you already know, I am a wrestling fan from day one, but at the same time, I'm also a fan of combat sports, boxing and MMA. I love them both equally. I got friends on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
The wrestling fan base are happy. He had his moment. He did it. He stood up for what he believed in. He had a courage, what have you. And then my friends that are from the combat sports world are looking at this like, what the fuck? He had no business being there. It's bullshit. And I see why, and I get it. I understand. Again, I understand both sides' perspective. You get what I'm going with this almost? I get it. I understand.
Yeah. But what if one of their stars decided to become a wrestler? Do you think wrestling fans would be like, what the fuck is he doing here? Or do you think wrestling fans are more accepting?
See, here's the thing, though. They're not going to, if it's a UFC guy, they're going to put them in WWE for a spectacle moment, for a spectrum. You know what I mean? For a spectacle occasion. If it's some guy fighting in Bellator or some guy fighting in some regional rinky-dink mom-and-pop fed, they go straight from the bottom. For perfect example, I'll give you an example. Shayna Baszler. She fought in the UFC. She's part of the 4 Horsewomen with Ronda Rousey and all them, right? You know where she's wrestling? She's no longer a fighter. Now she's a pro wrestler. You know where she's wrestling at right now?
No, where?
AIW, the independent scene right now. On the indies.
And I bet you she's probably getting a ton of support from pro wrestling fans.
I mean, honestly, the MMA fan base don't care. Great, yeah, good for you. Yeah, put it this way.
Either way, sorry, go ahead.
Listen, again, I'm happy that he did what he had to do. I'll be real. I marked out inside when he walked out the cult of personality.
Yes.
Walter, didn't you? That was cool. Yeah. The fact that he walked out, I thought you were gonna say it's clobbering time, but he didn't do that.
That's too
a part of me felt, okay, finally, cool. All right. And then it happened. And here's the thing
He
about
had
it
a
too.
longer walk to the ring than he did in the ring.
Yeah, his walk to the cage was longer than the fight itself. I get that. Okay, Mickey Gall. But here's the thing about it too. Like, people needed to know. I said this before. I said this, I think, on last week's show. They did this whole press conference before the fight, right? Where they had them square off and they talked to the media, right? Factor in that CM Punk wore this ugly suit, right? Next to Mickey Gall. CM Punk looked like he's 37 years old, but he looked like someone that was 47.
Well, that plus all the weight loss, he just didn't look healthy.
And next to a guy in Mickey Gall who looked like a high school freshman who was handed the varsity spot on the football team and was about to shit himself on a game day.
I know this sounds really weird, and I know, like, no matter who he goes up against, the odds are against him, but I feel like they kind of set CM Punk up to fail, because you're putting him against somebody who's his junior, who has numerous more years experience, even though he doesn't have the matches behind him. I feel like it was a setup.
To be fair, though, Mickey Gall was a brown belt.
Yeah, Mickey Gall had fight.
He's like literally one belt away from being a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why I feel like they should have tried to find somebody on his same level.
That's the point. You're fighting. Keep this in mind.
That's the thing, though, right?
Keep this in mind. Mickey Gall shouldn't be fighting the UFC either. He shouldn't be, because he's only 2-0. He doesn't have the experience. Also, granted, he's been training for such a long time, but he doesn't have the experience. Also, neither of them should be there. The reason why Mickey Gall is there because of CM Punk. The reason why CM Punk was. The reason why. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
The reason why CM Punk was in the UFC because of his name. All right, and you know what too? At the same time, it's finally we're taking calls in just a little bit. All right. Here's the thing about it, and it hit me because CM Punk made about how much money, Walter? $2 million, right, off this fight, and more.
No.
And he
he made $500,000.
And then he had a $25,000 Reebok deal, wasn't it, or something?
So he made more than Mickey Gall. He made more than a lot of guys. Listen, here's the thing about it too. Okay, here's the thing about it too. If CM Punk really cared for MMA and he wanted to really do it, to be fair, and this is where I agree with a lot of the fight fans. This is where I agree with them. This is where I agree with all of them. He should have gone, fought in the regional promotions, get himself some experience. Get himself some fights under his badge, under his back, and from there build up.
And he's not serious about it.
That's his mind. And at the same time, I get it. He's 37 years old. He looked like it too. He looked like he's 37. But at the end of the day, listen, I give him credit for doing it. Honestly, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him fight again. I have no interest again. UFC 203 arguably was the worst pay-per-view card in the history of the UFC.
They made money out of it.
But they made a shitload of money.
They made probably a ton from just people who are wrestling fans watching it.
You'd be surprised. A lot of wrestling fans, they didn't pay for this shit. They illegally.
They never pay for that shit.
Exactly. At the end of the day, though, listen. CM Punk is CM Punk. All right, I give him credit again that. Yeah, and I agree there. No, I agree with Straight Shooter here. No, I think CM Punk doesn't give a shit about MMA. He only cares about what CM Punk does, and that's true as well. That's true as well.
Because Dana White went up to him and was like, "Look, there's a great opportunity for you and shit like that." He probably pitched him well, and Punk took it, and I don't blame him. But clearly he was not ready for the spot.
Exactly.
And
dude, you fought a guy.
I just feel like
I just think it makes.
Wasn't ready.
He fought a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He fought a Brazilian jiu-jitsu brown belt, who is literally one belt away from being a black belt. One belt away from being a black belt. Didn't I just mention that? I'll repeat that again. He fought a guy who was one belt away from being a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. He literally did what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to run up to a guy, try to punch him. That's what he did. That's the one thing you don't do. End of the day, listen, I blame Dana White. I blame the Athletic Commission. I don't blame Dude Ruth. I don't blame his trainer. I blame everything on Dana White and the Athletic Commission for giving him a license to do so.
I just think that there should be some kind of prerequisite that you do have to have some, indie time or a certain amount of hours in the ring before you can go up.
No, you're
Because
supposed
to
to
me,
have
like he jumped the queue.
you're supposed to have amateur fights behind your under your belt before you step into professional. That's what it was
Well,
supposed
that's
to
what I was gonna say. So to me, I just feel bad for all these people who are on the indie scene who probably are great
be. Yeah.
fighters, but they're not getting called up because of people like CM Punk who are jumping the queue.
Exactly, and that's why a lot of my friends who are fight fans, who don't fuck with pro wrestling at all, are upset about. One of my friends, who's a fighter, wrote this huge blog, this huge rant on Facebook, and he fights on the region. He had a trial fight in Bellator a couple years ago. So again, I understand their position. I understand it completely, 100%. At the same time, though, as a wrestling fan within me was happy that, hey, he had his moment. Just don't do it again.
Well,
Just don't do it again.
I'm just gonna say this though, like if you go back and look at the history of boxing and whatnot, in the 50s and the 60s, they had draw matches where they would have a celebrity come in and try to box, or they would have some kind of a spectacle match. And I think we get that a lot more in wrestling, with celebrities, and like we're gonna have Shaq wrestle, like that kind of stuff. So do you think that it's just that UFC's never really done this kind of thing before where it's a huge spectacle, except for maybe like a Brock Lesnar? Do you think maybe that's because fans aren't kind of used to it, and as wrestling fans we are more used to that and more accepting of it?
You gotta understand though, Brock had a collegiate All-American wrestling background.
Yeah, that's completely different.
Speaking of thing about it, listen. Unless your name, I'm in the cool Brandon Schnaub on the Fighter and the Kid podcast. And unless your name is Bobby Lashley, Kurt Angle, or Brock Lesnar, you could easily do this, make the transition with no problem whatsoever. Could they, you know what I mean? No problem at all. Could they have the background behind it? That's the thing. You know what I mean? The point of the matter is, again, Punk went out there, and you know what? I give him credit. He trained, he prepared himself 2 years, but look what happened. He got taken down. He literally gave up his back, got choked in just 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
It was a failure, pretty much. That's a lot of years, and
not only that,
just didn't work out.
I don't know. Again, I just think of it more as like is the 50s style where like people used to box bears. Like to me, it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. It was just supposed to be there for pure entertainment.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it, you've never heard of Rocky Marciano or Joe Louis fighting bears. You never heard about that, or Sugar Ray Robinson fighting. You never heard about that. You know what I mean? Back in the day. Come on, Steven. There's got to be bad card worse than UFC 203. Example, UFC 414. And that was a bad one too. Angry Mark writes here, fuck CM Punk. He got what he deserved at UFC by being punked by Mickey Gall. Hell yes, pun is finally intended. Okay. No, I think okay, I read that already. Gall only made 15 million. I don't think he made 15 million. That's a reach.
Gall made 30,000. And Punk made 500,000. That's what I read.
That's what I read too. You know what? At the end of the day, yo, again, it is what it is. We can move on. I think, honestly, you know what's even crazy? At the press conference, at the end of the whole thing, Punk said he wants to do this again.
Yeah, he was being all stuff. I don't understand that. Like, he was a dick in the professional wrestling world. But he was humble. Because he
knew, he knew going in that, he can't put this pro wrestling persona, because he knew what was going to happen. He knew.
Oh, he would have been killed. They would have killed him.
And to be fair, this is not the first time that the UFC's done this. Let's go back to UFC 118. Back in 2010, the co-main event of that card was Randy Couture versus James Lights Out Toney, who was only a boxer. And the whole build to the fight was James Toney literally touring around the country, calling out Dana White in the sport of MMA, saying that MMA fighters can't compete with boxers. And what happened? In that fight, literally 30 seconds, and Randy Couture took James Toney down, got his back, and just choked him the fuck out.
It just reminds me of the Big Show versus
Akebono.
What's his name?
Akebono.
You know, the little boxer guy. I can't remember his name right now.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, it just feels like that. But to me, I knew May Floyd would. I knew I wasn't gonna get a wrestling match. I knew it was just gonna get entertainment, and it was his name that was the draw. And I think that's kind of how I feel about the CM Punk thing.
The difference is though you can't have that entertainment in a sporting venue. If it was the other way around, fine. Like if Ronda Rousey went to WWE and did what she did at WrestleMania 31, fine. You know what I mean? If Conor McGregor were to go to say Survivor Series or Royal Rumble and have a Royal Rumble moment, fine. Because again, that's the other way around. But fight fans don't expect that from a UFC or boxing event. You know what I mean? Especially being the third fight from the top. Just saying.
They still bought tickets.
They still, yeah, because here think there's other fights involved, but more times out of 10 because they want to see CM Punk either win or get his ass kicked, and look what happened. But again, I don't want to be stuck on this whole CM Punk thing. Well, let's move on here because again, there's a lot of things we need to talk about. For example, Raw this past week hit a 1.88 million rating, 1.88 rating, the lowest in such a long time. And whoever's calling right now, we are not taking calls. So whoever's calling right now, you're going to have to wait until we take live calls. Just
So
saying.
on the ratings of Raw, I read that it was the worst ratings they've had since 1996. Like that's terrible.
I agree. And you know what, though? At the end of the day, though, yeah, the ratings may suck, but at the end of the day, USA Network, they're not going to boot Raw. They're not.
No.
That's the thing about
But
it.
I mean, it was up against some pretty like stiff competition, and it's like, what was it, football on Monday night that they were up against?
Yeah. It's always been that way, though.
Like, and it was like, like football just started, and it's kind of scary that you've split your brand into Raw and SmackDown, and you're going up against like more than just other wrestling. You're going against things like other sporting events. It's worried because the roster's split now that a lot of people are going to choose one more than the other, and then it's going to hurt ratings. And I think some of the people I know, they either only watch Raw or only watch SmackDown. They don't watch both. And I think maybe this is kind of an indicator of what's going to happen to their ratings now that they're split.
I hear you. Excuse me, I just belched there. Sorry. But again, you know what? At the end of the day, the ratings may get low, but again, people are still going to tune anyway. People, the hardcore are still going to tune in. That's what they rely on as well, the hardcore fans. What do you think, Walter? What do you think, cousin? Let them know. If you excuse me, I have a Skype connection issue right now. This is weird. This is so weird right now. All right, so my Skype just went out, but I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. You know what though? End of the day, it's one of those situations right now that it happens. It just happens. All right. We'll try to get them back in just momentarily. My internet connection is still here. You guys can still hear me, right? I hope you guys can still hear me. Let me know in the comment there. You guys can still hear me. Again, these things happen all the time. I want to say. So yeah. Even SmackDown's almost beat Raw. What happened? This is a connection right now. We have a call. Oh, no, I'm gonna get a caller in now. I'll get a caller in.
What happened?
We're here. We're back. 312-316. You're on the air. Dora, are you there?
Yes, I don't know what's going on, but super
Hold up.
weird.
Let me get you guys back on the call. I'm gonna get you guys back on the call, all right? I'll start a new call. All right?
Okay.
Again, guys, these things happen all the time. It's Skype. Skype at times can be a bitch. Believe me, it can be a bitch at times. Trust me. All right? We'll take a call in just a little bit, guys. Just bear with us, all right? Bear with us. Walter, you're back. Awesome.
Yes. What's going on?
I don't know. Skype sometimes can act up and be a bitch. Believe me when I say that, buddy. Skype at times can be a bitch.
Yep.
Indeed, Leo.
Hello. Were you trying to delete me, Steven?
Why would I do that? Again, we're still here, guys. We're still here. Brother Near Believe the TEAMHEEL podcast. Well, wow. I don't know about that. What happened? Well, again, sometimes Skype can be a bitch and there's technical issues here. We're supposed to get a storm here, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not, but We're still here, guys. We're still here. Nothing happened here, all right? We can continue on. Where were we? I forgot. You see, a lot of things been happening right now. A lot of things regarding random stuff. See what happens. We talk about MMA. See what happens. Connection issues. Connection issues just take over the place. You know what I mean?
Damn.
What else do you guys want to cover? Oh yeah. So you guys, speaking of Brother Nero, did you guys hear about I'm sure you all saw it. Walt, I'm sure you saw it as well. The Leader Decay.
The Lear Decay, yeah.
Dory, did you watch it too? Of course you did, right? You watched it also, right?
Of course I did.
I did a reaction video on my channel, thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be fucking amazing. Nope.
I was kind of underwhelmed.
Here's my thing with it, okay? And I'm gonna say this overall. I thought it wasn't bad. I thought overall it was a solid segment, but I feel like they went to the well one too many times. I felt like overall
Too quickly, too.
and I get it though, and I understand because Final Deletion had so much feedback that was positive that TNA, I feel like they were forced to go back to this again. And again, I give them credit where credit's due. At a time in society where wrestling is lacking creativity, TNA's literally they're going, on a different direction. You know what I mean? And they're taking those risks, and I give them credit for that. If I were wearing a hat right now, I would take off my hat and give them credit where credit's due. But I'm not wearing a hat right now, so I can't do that. Obviously.
So, like, overall, I think I was kind of underwhelmed, and I think it just has to do with the storyline. Like, I don't watch TNA, so I knew it was going to be kind of a big deal again, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And I think the reason why I didn't enjoy this as much as the original was the fact that I know the history between Matt and Jeff Hardy. I know that they're brothers. I know they've had feuds for years. And, that was kind of the culmination of all of that history. Going into this, I feel like there hasn't been enough build up and storyline to kind of garner them doing it now. I think maybe they should have waited a little bit longer. Maybe done it maybe closer to Halloween. Give it some more space, some time to breathe. But I think more than anything, the reason why they did it now is because they have a pay-per-view coming up. You want to get eyes on the product. Billy Corgan's taking over. They want people to feel like it's new and it's fresh. So maybe that's why they did it now instead of waiting.
Of course. Absolutely. But again, what about you? What do you think? What do you think about it, bro? I know you watched it yourself.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was fine, but obviously not better than Final Deletion. Yeah, like you guys were saying, like, why not give this a shot? You got really good feedback the first time. Might as well try it out the second time. I suggest they don't do it for either. I mean, maybe if they do something like this again, it'd be good. But you gotta wait like
A year.
I don't know.
Not even a year, a couple months.
Yeah, maybe a year, a couple. Yeah, like half a year.
Let the
I
shit,
do
let the shit breathe, if you will. Just let it breathe.
Yeah.
I do think it was interesting though, because they are very similar in the way that they were filmed and certain aspects of it. But I felt more like this was like a Rob Zombie movie, like kind of Devil Rejects kind of feeling with decay in it. So I think maybe if you switch up the different people that are doing it with the Hardys, you could lend yourself to do something completely different, but in the same style, and I think it might work better.
Absolutely. But you know what? I think overall, I think it's about that time. Y'all want to take some live calls? Let's take some live calls right now. Let's take let's take it to the streets right now. People want to call in right now. Wait for the do not call sign to leave. You know what I mean? There you go. If you want to call in now, 718-473-0813. Give us your thoughts on what we talked about or anything you guys want to talk about. We'll talk about it here on the TEAMHEEL podcast. Oh boy, oh buddy. The week is coming up. Backlash is already in the books. We have a new world heavyweight champion, AJ Styles. Damn Dixie. That was like the ultimate damn Dixie in my opinion. It's the ultimate damn. It is, dude. It's the ultimate
The
damn
face
Dixie.
that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp.
The
Did he get a rhyming dictionary for winning the championship? Like, it feels like everything AJ Styles says now just is a rhyme.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna make sure if we're working the feedback, and it is.
Yeah, it's great to see they became champ. Like I wouldn't have believed anyone if someone told me like he became champ this year. No,
It's
like
hard to
when he
believe.
debuted at the Royal
I
Rumble. Like, how are you gonna tell me that
I
he's gonna be
think
world
they
champ?
I think they might have waited longer on giving him the title, but they really needed to get it off Dean Ambrose. And other than Dean, who else were you going to give it to? John Cena. So I think, it was
Oh,
kind of a need and a want at the same time.
Exactly.
yeah.
You
Cena's gonna
had,
get it back
yeah.
eventually. So
Oh, I
To
really hope
my
not because they did this
understanding,
whole thing like a year ago where he was trying to get it off of somebody else, being like, he even had a shirt that said like 16-time world champ, like I'm going for the 17th. Like we've seen this before. I just, ugh, boring.
to my understanding, this is what I've read now. Apparently, they're so high right now on AJ, they want to give him a long, lengthy run with the belt.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Cena's gonna take time off after No Mercy because
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna go film some movies and shit.
Part timer,
I
hypocrite.
Part
I
timer
really hope
man,
that. Sorry, go ahead.
hypocrite. It just me. Does Billy Corgan look like Phil Collins? By the way, they booked Leader Decay during Halloween. It would give Corgan the perfect excuse to use his band, the Smashing Pumpkins. LOL, I like that. But guys, if you want to call in now, 718-473-0813. Call in right now. Give us your thoughts and let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Giggity.
Giggity, giggity, giggity. That's all I know, pretty much. That's all I fucking know. Unfortunately, that's all I fucking know about it. Weekend's coming up. I'm excited. I have a short schedule, but other than that, though, can't wait.
Yeah, I'm off. I can't wait.
So today also. Oh, today's the CWC finals, right? By the way, god
Oh my
damn it.
God. 2-hour finale.
I'm
Steven, who do you think's going over and who do you want to really go over?
honestly gonna be Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi's gonna hold Zack Sabre
Mm,
Jr.'s head up in the air.
I think, okay, I really myself, I want to see TJ Perkins win this, but I know realistically, probably he won't. I think that we're gonna get Zack Sabre Jr. going over. I don't think we're gonna get Kota Ibushi because Kota Ibushi doesn't want to sign.
I don't even think Zack Sabre signed either, though.
No, but I don't know. I can't picture Kota going over here because it would just, I don't know.
TJ
I just
Perkins would be a nice one.
TJ would be amazing, and I think, especially because he is going to be signed, he's so charismatic, and he's amazing in the ring, and he has that swagger, and I love his swagger. Like he literally dabs in between moves. Like how much more epic can you get?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see what they do with it and how they kind of handle the finale, and if we see Triple H come out and kind of award the
Factor.
winner, and again, anytime I can hear Daniel Bryan and Mauro Ranallo on
Moro
announcing, I'm just
Ronaldo.
ecstatic.
Well, this is Moro Ronaldo here. Here in the CWC. I can't do it. I know Connor can do it.
Mamma mia!
I'm telling you, bro. Bro, I gotta tell you, bro. I gotta tell you, bro. Back in the day,
Vince
bro.
Russo.
I'm stop, honestly. Because he might be listening to this right now. And I don't want him to kick my ass or shit like that. I don't want him kicking my ass. You know what I mean? But guys, if you want to call in right now, we're taking the calls, people. 718-473-0813. Let us know your thoughts, what you want to talk about, and shit like that. And get the ball rolling, people. Get the ball fucking rolling. How about that?
So, Steven, I know you watched both Raw and SmackDown this week. Do you have like an opinion on which one you felt was better?
They both felt very, very bland to me, to be honest. 916, you're on the air. Okay, no, you're not. All right. It's weird. Call failed.
Oh, no.
It's weird. It's weird as hell right now. Call failed. That's weird. Well, let me take calls right now. That's weird as shit right now. That's weird.
Should let me take off.
That's so weird right now. Google is just acting up like a bitch right now. I don't know why he's doing that, but oh well. It's weird. I'll tell you what.
Well, maybe if the
I'm gonna start another caller.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna start another call. Get this shit working. All right.
Yep.
Here we go. Sometimes Skype can be a bitch, guys. Seriously. Sometimes Skype can be a bitch. And I don't know why it's doing this right now, but it's pissing me off right now. But it's pissing me off. It really, really is right now. Believe me when I say that. It's really pissing me off right now. "903, you're on the air."
Hey, what's up?
Weston, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling with you guys up. But about the CM Punk stuff, because I want to explain why, I said what I said in the comments.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we all saw the Colt Cabana podcast, right, where he was talking about, how he never wanted to take someone's spot, how he wanted to have the same pay as The Rock and all that. But I find it quite hypocritical that he literally goes against everything he said on that podcast when he joined UFC, because he literally took someone's spot, and I bet there is another UFC fighter complaining that he or she's not getting as much paid as CM Punk, especially considering they may be better. So that's why I'm glad he kind of got bitched out at UFC.
Interesting, dude.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you gotta say about that?
Huh?
What do you guys gotta say about that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I see your point. Punk, he did complain about not making enough money, but it's CM Punk. I'm not surprised that he's being a bit hypocritical here, making a lot of money for doing something that a lot of other fighters probably wished they were other fighters who are probably definitely better than Punk wish that they were in his position making all that money. It's a bit unfair, but that's how business is.
Exactly. It's the way it is sometimes. It's just the way it is. Let's put it this way. If it was you making that money, would you complain about it? Hell no.
Hell no.
I wouldn't. Shit.
I'll be sad.
That's that Zuffa money. Hiya, killy, hiya. He making Zuffa money. I tried, I know.
Yeah, well,
I guarantee I just did that right now. There's gonna be some jerk job in the comments. Oh, you're lowering the product right now. Oh my god. I'm gonna get into this a little bit too. Alright. Just continue on, Weston. Continue on, Weston. Continue on, buddy.
Yeah, and I would like to see T.J. Perkins win the Cruiserweight Classic, but let's be real. For me, there's no investment, and now that I had a chance to see Zack Sabre Jr., I feel he's very overrated.
Ooh.
Yeah, this dude was so hyped up as to be one of the best wrestlers. I even heard some, wrestling fans call him the Bret Hart of today's era and shit. And I'm like,
he's more
okay.
It's not over yet. That's all I gotta say. Is you never know what we're gonna get tonight.
He's more like what would happen if Daniel Bryan had a British accent. Put it that way.
No, Daniel Bryan's way better. I'm sorry,
don't get me wrong.
I know I'm not being
don't get me
Daniel
wrong.
Bryan mark, but I mean, come on.
Put this way though. Picture Daniel Bryan as his in-ring style, just with a British accent, on the independents. That's all it pretty much is. On the indie scene.
Well, no, because Daniel Bryan has charisma and a connection to the crowd.
Again, I'm talking about Daniel. I'm talking about Daniel Bryan's indie days. Picture Daniel Bryan on the independents with a British accent. That's it.
Okay, I guess. I didn't see much of Daniel Bryan's indie career, so
Exactly.
I guess.
Picture that: the kicks, the technical skills and shit like that, and that's what you have pretty much with Zack Sabre Jr. Again, I think he's an amazing talent. It's crazy that he didn't sign a WWE deal. It's understandable. He still wants to do things on the independents, and rightfully so. By all means, to each their own.
Nah, he's really crazy.
Yeah.
I think
I would.
I think either way it was. I think
don't know.
either way, like the whole point of the Cruiserweight Classic wasn't only just to sign guys. I think it was to show kind of the kind of talent that's out there. And now that I know he's out there, especially like with Kota Ibushi, you know, if they don't ever wrestle again in anything WWE, as somebody who's not a huge indie fan, I know now that I'm gonna go search for Kota Ibushi matches because he's just that good.
Yeah, Coda's definitely ain't signed. I mean, he's not signed now, but he'll eventually get signed.
Eventually, I think he will. Eventually. But other than that, though, we'll see what happens. Honestly, I'm calling out Kota Ibushi's gonna win. Gonna carry Zack Sabre Jr.'s head as he's get the trophy. But yeah, Wes, let's say what. I'm gonna take a couple more calls, right, buddy?
Oh wait, hold on. Another thing I want to talk about is the whole Paige thing. To be honest, I wouldn't care if she left. Let's be real, WWE ain't doing nothing with her, and on top of that, again, another wrestler I find very overrated. She doesn't really get that much of a reaction. And to be honest, I consider Eva Marie to be better than Paige, because at least Eva Marie gets a reaction whenever she comes out.
What?
Wow. Wow. Okay, this is a
Wow.
the views of okay.
Okay, I'll start by preferencing this. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and you can be entitled to your opinion all you like, but Eva Marie gets a response because people legitimately want to throw her out of the arena. It's not just heel heat, it's legit I hate you, get the hell out of my face heat. Like I know people who would literally spit on her if they saw her in the street. Whereas there's heels who, like, say The Miz, who I love that they're heels and I love to hate them, but I wouldn't spit on them.
Hey, all I'm saying is a reaction's a reaction, and Paige, she's as boring as paint. Sure, she might have decent wrestling ability, which I don't think so. Nothing about Paige really surprised me. Like, to me, she just, all she is like the gothic version of another diva. You know what I mean? That's all she is.
Ooh, okay, so I will say this. I agree with you that she has been kind of flat. I'd say the last year they haven't been doing much with Paige, but she can do things in the ring that the women's wrestlers coming up now can't even be taught how to do it. It's in her blood. Some of the submission moves and some of the things that she can do, if you go back and see her indie stuff, she's a rough wrestler. Right now, she's having to scale it back because she's in WWE. If you go back and watch the things that she can do without having those kind of closed barriers, I think you'd be a lot more impressed with Paige. But I agree with you. The last year, it feels like she's just been lukewarm. She hasn't been hot. She hasn't been cold. She's kind of lukewarm. And I'm hoping when she comes back, maybe now with this women's revolution where they're given more time to do promo work and storyline, that maybe she'll have a better chance to shine.
All right.
I hear that from every fan. Like, hey, check back this wrestler's past. That will truly show how great. Just to be honest, I don't care what she did in the indies, because you know what it kind of comes off like. It's kind of like I don't know. Let's see, Walter, Steven, you guys are MMA fans, obviously. You know what that's kind of like? It's kind of like saying, oh man, here's this UFC fighter that's undefeated in, I don't know, the indies of the UFC. But then, once they come up, they get the shit beat out of them. You know what I mean?
I mean, 9 times out of 10, that there's a scenario where that actually happens. There's guys, for example, Hector Lombard was a fucking monster in Bellator, beating the fuck out of people left and right. He comes to the UFC, his first fight against Tim Bosch, chokes. It happens. It fucking happens.
So all I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what you do in the indies. What matters is what happens. It's what you do in the big leagues. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, to be fair though, what you do on the indies is pretty much your resume to get you to the top, to the big leagues.
Well, and that's fine. But
it's like this. I'll give you an example. I finished culinary school, right? I went to culinary school, what have you. I can't expect right now where I'm at, with the less experience that I have in the kitchen, to right away go to New York and work at Daniel Boulud's 5-star Michelin star restaurant, Danielle. It's not going to happen right away. Right now, you know where I'm working at in the afternoons, in the mornings and shit like that? I'm working at some Bush League hotel.
Hey,
right now. Hey, it's a start, though. It's a start. You know what I mean? But it's right. Like that, pretty much. And again, to each their own. Everyone has a right to their opinion. End of the day. All right, Weston? It's all good, buddy.
Yeah,
we love you. All right, buddy? So take it easy. I'm going to take another call, all right?
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace out, buddy. And again, guys, you know what? To each their own. End of the day, everyone has a right to their opinion. All right. So there you go. We're gonna take a couple more calls. You guys want to call in? 219. There's someone calling in. We had Weston on. Hopefully that person can call in and we'll get the calls in and we'll start talking to people. You know what I mean? But again, guys, to each their own. Well, Weston, you didn't care how Eva Marie's strip on 12 Los Corazones, but you research proposes. Okay. 916 is about to be on the air. 916, you're on the air. What's your name? Where you from?
You already know it's Dave Sack from Sacramento. What's going on, Steven?
Dave Sack, where are you, buddy? How you been? Holy shit. Dave Sack, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm doing good. I had a busy weekend full of wrestling this past week. I'm in preparation to try to go live for the first wrestling event at the new Golden One Center in Sacramento next month for No Mercy. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to give you 3 quick things. Of course, the unappreciated, talk UFC and a little bit of WWE if you're cool with that.
Now, for those of you who don't remember, the unappreciated segment, Dave Sack comes in every single week. He would do that, and he would give us, in his opinion, who is unappreciated. It could be a wrestler from the current era, from the old era, from any promotion. But the beauty is, he'll give us his thoughts, and we'll agree to disagree. So, with that being said, take it away, Dave.
All right, this week's unappreciated. It's a blast from the past, and rest in peace, this great name. We're going with Chris Kanyon. And the reason I really want to go with this is because if you go on Google, not Google, you're already on YouTube, but anybody else, if you're listening on a podcast later on, go on YouTube. There's this great compilation video. Because for a while he was mimicking DDP. He was calling himself Positively Canyon. And it really sparked my interest in regards to yesterday I was watching SmackDown, and this just really got me going, and I was just like, somebody needs to. I mean, overall, Chris Kanyon is a good performer. He really is. I think he's underrated. But when he was doing the Positively Canyon stuff, that's when you saw it. That's when it was really he was able to be a little bit outspoken and put an impact on the business. He didn't. He wasn't that guy who was going to main event, but he could work. You know, he feuded with Buff Bagwell back in WCW. But reason I'm bringing him up, we're going to tie this in to yesterday's SmackDown. There were promos cut back and forth between John Cena and Dean Ambrose. And to a degree, I think they kind of were shooting. John Cena brought up the Stone Cold podcast and basically was saying, well, you're the lunatic fringe. What the fuck does that even mean? So, with that said, I'm thinking Dean Ambrose, especially now that he lost the belt, he needs to just be this guy who takes his rage out on the entire roster. He will interrupt matches. He will... he doesn't have a move that can come out of nowhere like Randy Orton, but I'm just saying he needs to be that guy who literally brings chaos. It doesn't have to be to the level of Johnny Moxley back in his CZW days, but he has to show that he is crazy. And when you look at Positively Canyon, that guy was hitting canyon cutter after canyon cutter, anytime, anywhere. Cameramen, caterers. Just watch the video if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, please watch the video. But if you do, of course you know what I'm talking about. But Canyon was a really great guy. Best friend with DDP, of course. And was he open about being gay or?
Yeah, I think there was a match with him and DDP. At the end of the match, he pretty much came out before he died. He came out, he was gay.
Yeah, so he was one of the guys to open up towards the end of his life, basically, but the end of his career. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with Canyon as this week's unappreciated. But wrestling-wise, SmackDown's doing way better than Raw. I know people
I'll
prefer
be-
to watch Raw.
I'll be honest. I thought this week's SmackDown was kind of all over the place. Like, it was good, but if this was their attempt to try to compete with Raw, then no, I give it. I'm not gonna go there with that.
It's 50-50 because it's just simply the fact that it's like we've gone so long. I mean, I love the fact that they split up the brands to give more opportunities, but it's just like it's still 3 hours versus 2, and it's so much easier to sink in to handle a 2-hour show versus a 3. Or, I mean, like in cases of like NXT or Lucha Underground, handling a 1 hour is even better because like they find ways to make you want more. But it's just like 2 hours. It just feels a lot better, you know. And it's just like they try to get done stuff, and it's just I'm not saying it's knocking it out the park, but I will say this: I'm happy that the Usos are heel. I'm happy about the results of Backlash. You know, the right people won.
Of course he did. Absolutely.
That's
The right people won. I'm really happy that like they didn't try to do something stupid. They set up feuds. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about, because I saw something on Facebook yesterday.
Bray Wyatt.
Now I thought it was going to happen on SmackDown. It didn't. Eva Marie's suspension is basically going to be out pretty soon.
Yep.
And even though they just announced Alexa Bliss is the new #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title, the story they were building up before this whole title situation happened was Becky Lynch versus Eva Marie, and Eva kept having these excuses. And so I'm wondering, after No Mercy, you know, she's next in line, and I know you want to legitimize a new title, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just...
To be honest, I just wish, this is my pet peeve here, I just wish they stopped using that fake WWE Shop replica title on SmackDown for the women's title.
Oh my god.
No, for real. Like, if you noticed, the belt,
Mhm.
it's a toy replica from WWE Shop.
Really?
That's what it is. Just notice the way it looks. I'll tell you what. Go back on YouTube. There's a YouTube video of Becky Lynch backstage moments after she won the belt at Backlash, walking around with the belt on her shoulder. Just the way the shoulder is placed on her shoulder, period. It's the way the strap, it doesn't go flat or around her shoulder. It curves up like a little triangle and shit. That's what you know.
Only you would know.
Listen, I'm not Paul Martin belts, but I know what an actual belt with backing and leather looks like. I know. You know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
It's not the biggest deal in the world.
I'm just saying though, it's WWE. That to me is very indie-ish though. I get it.
They just want to save money, I think.
Listen, this is WWE. This is not fucking Global Force, all right? I'm just saying.
Right.
For the Global Force.
All right.
No, but the last thing I want to talk about before I get off is the CM Punk thing. I made a huge post on Facebook the night of the fight, and I'm just gonna sum it up by saying, I mean, like I kind of saw it coming, but it felt like Dana White, like he signed Punk, kind of knowing what could happen. I mean, he did it for the draws, of course, for the money. But I think, in a way, this was kind of like a way to basically snub the WWE. You know, it was a big fuck you by signing Punk. But at the same time, it cost the not pride, but it was like, what word am I looking for here? The prestige, maybe, of like actually being UFC be the big time. You know,
not really, dude. Not really, because I agree. Like I said earlier on the show, Mickey Gall, in all honesty, doesn't deserve to be there either.
No, he doesn't. But I mean,
at the end of the day,
but at the same time, prior to that fight, he had 4 other fights: 3 amateur MMA, like on Independence, and then 2 in.
To be fair, dude, the amateur, they don't count the amateur in the record though. They only count he only had 2 fights.
I know. But yeah, he was already 2-0, but he already
now he's 3-0. Now he's 3-0.
Yeah, now he's 3-0.
Again, listen, to be frank, he didn't deserve to be there either. End of the day, listen, that was the PR move. Because
You
they
know,
wanted
the big PR
eyeballs.
move.
They wanted eyeballs on their product.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Look, I'll be real. If I was Dana White, I do the same. I do the exact same. Listen, if LeBron James wants to wants to get into the octagon and fight a light heavyweight and fight John Jones, fuck yeah, I'd do it. Wouldn't you guys? If you're Dana White, if you're Joe Silva, shit.
I understand what you're coming from, but like, here's my thing. I would have. I get more. I mean, I respect Punk for even doing it. I do, but I give more props to Dave Bautista, who like basically said, "Yeah, I'm a name, but like I would rather go like the small circuit route. You know, let me do something local.
To be fair,
get a few fights under my belt if I can, and if I'm feeling this is what I'll do."
To be fair, though.
Stopped.
To be fair, with Batista, he could have gone to Strikeforce. He could have gone to Bellator, which at 9 times out of 10, they're not as big as the UFC. And that's the way it is. He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight in Strikeforce against Bobby Lashley, but that thing folded because obviously Zuffa purchased Strikeforce from out of nowhere.
Right.
So that never really came about.
Oh. Yeah. Overall, I look at it like this, and this is what I would. I mean, like if Punk was, I mean, if UFC were to sign Punk, which they did, but like going back, I think the smartest move, knowing he had zero MMA experience, he had no fights under his belt. Best move if he was going to sign with UFC, I would have put him on the Ultimate Fighter.
Exactly. If not, or you know what, have him fight under your, under your regional spread, like Titan FC or shit like that. Fight on the independent circuit that's owned by or affiliated with the UFC. You check up on him. You make a big deal out of it. All his fights, and you know what? His fights, you put him on a Fight Pass, which is their version equivalent to the WWE Network. The only difference is that the pay-per-view events are not on Fight Pass. That you have to purchase on pay-per-view. That's the only difference.
Exactly. I mean, like I respect anybody who makes the transition.
Wrestling fans, respect him for what he did. The fight fans are trashing this. And you know what? End of the day, again, like I said earlier, I have friends on both sides of the spectrum, and I get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not a regular UFC guy. All right, there are certain names I watch when I do, it's like, I mean, a lot of times I'm surprised because I mean, I'm the type of person rather be boxing, UFC. I like a war. I like a little back and forth. Let's go a few rounds. I mean, like, even though a lot of people consider Floyd Mayweather one of the greatest of all time or the greatest of all time, I don't, because it's like the later of his career, it was all about the streak. So he would make his fights last. He wasn't willing to take a blow to give one. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like overall, a lot of the big name fights, they end very quickly. And if Punk, even if he wasn't gonna win this, I was actually hoping he would have made it all the way to a decision. I was hoping,
but
because that would have been a fair goal.
Here's the thing about it, though.
If you already know that most likely this guy isn't going to win,
you gotta understand. You have to understand this, though. You're talking about a guy who's 37 years old. 37. At 37, your body, your reflexes don't function as if you were in your early 20s. It doesn't function that way. It doesn't. He fought a guy that's old enough to be his fucking younger cousin in Mickey Gall.
Basically.
You know what I mean? He fought a guy. No, I'm not done yet. He fought a guy that's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. One belt away from being a black belt.
And isn't Punk like basically, like, because I remember that photo he took with Ed O'Neill. Wasn't he a white belt?
Ed O'Neill is a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
No. Punk took a picture with Ed O'Neill.
You gotta understand, Punk. You gotta understand, Punk never really thought of himself as a belt. He always put on a white belt. He never.
That's what I'm saying.
He just trained with it. He never really trained to become like a black belt. You gotta keep that in mind. And I agree. Again, listen. At the end of the day, it was a mismatch. End of the day, it was a mismatch. He approached the fight the wrong way. Because again, when you fight someone like that, you're not supposed to run at him. You're not supposed to. That's rule number one. You know. He took it down, and again, we all knew that was gonna happen.
Right.
Walter, what do you gotta say about this, bro? Again, like,
What about Punk?
yeah, about this whole thing about Punk and
Yeah, like I said earlier, I mean, I guess you could respect him for fighting, but like, it's just, it's messed up for the other fighters. I could see that viewpoint as well because, he literally just didn't have any fights prior to the one he had just recently, and he just made a lot of cash out of it. So a lot of
yeah.
people are kind of jelly about that. So
I mean, you got to give respect because of the fact that like he's taking in a lot of pride, knowing how much he was gonna get going in, and no matter if he won or lost, he was gonna get shit canned. So like the fact that he knew that, and he still went with it. Like it was just the fact that his name got him to a bigger dance than like where a lot of people expected him to be.
those pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, indeed. I'll tell you what, man. We're gonna take a couple more calls and wrap up the show. All right.
All right, man. Peace.
Take it easy, my brother. Take it easy, my man.
All right.
All right. Fuck. All right. So, Dory had to use the bathroom. Walter, there's just two of us here, bro. What you got planned this weekend, my man? What you got planned this weekend?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Who performing, bro? Who be performing at your college, bro? Who's performing?
Nah, no one's performing.
You got a little Dicky, bro? You got a little Dicky performing, bro? You got a little Dicky performing?
Oh, hell no.
Got ASAP Mob performing, bro? Got the OVO squad performing, bro? OVO squad?
You wish. Fuck that.
Can your school afford the OVO squad? Can your
I
school
don't
afford?
think they can. I don't think they could afford Drake. I mean, they got Fetty Wap last year. So.
Fetty Wap? Did it flop?
Kind of. I'd say it. For me, it did.
Reading the comments here, CM Punk met the greatest high school American of all time, Ed O'Neill, who scored 4 touchdowns in one game for Polk High School. What a hero. Nah, but you gotta understand, Walter. Tell him what the situation right now. It's funny when Walter talks, you hear crickets because he's quiet normally. LOL.
It'd be really funny, Steven, if you said a really cheesy joke right now, and then there was just silence with crickets.
Exactly. So Walter, tell me your story, bro.
There's crickets because I don't know why there's crickets. Okay, I'm inside and
your school Wi-Fi, dude.
It's pretty sensitive, I guess.
I believe
the surroundings outside my building. Imagine if I had like a more sensitive mic, you would have heard more than just crickets.
I know what this is right now.
You can hear the party going down the hall.
It's time, bro. Yeah. It's time for Michael Corvin. It's Corvin time on the TEAMHEEL podcast. Corvin, how are you?
I'm gonna start making a T-shirt about that. I'm gonna try and sell it to people now. Corvin time. I like the sound of that. Thanks for giving me the idea. It's a T-shirt I'm gonna have to come up with someday.
It's Corvin time all the time on the TEAMHEEL podcast. Oh yeah.
Very
Corvin.
yeah.
Corvin, how you been, brother?
Oh, weird.
Corvin, how you been, brother?
You just made everything super awkward right now for no reason at all.
Corvin, we're trying to put you over here. We're trying to give you the rub here and feel more comfortable, man. Come on now.
All right, sure, yeah, that's all. That's a good thing, I guess.
So Corbin, what's up? How you been, brother? How you been? How's your week been? What you been up to?
I'm alive.
Work.
Not really, but yeah, I'm alive. So there's that. So that's like the highlight. I woke up every morning this week, so that's a plus.
Why?
Yeah.
Why you wake up early morning, dude? What'd you do?
I said I woke up every morning. So
and that should be a victory. Do you wake up every single morning, you get a glass of milk, bowl of cereal, you know what I mean? You smile, you open up the curtains of the window, let the sun come inside, and you should be happy, bro.
If only it were that simple.
Listen, man, gotta make it happen. So, Corey, what you want to talk about, bro? What's on your mind, bro? Talk to me. Talk to me.
I want to address the CM Punk situation, seeing as how he's the hometown boy around here. And I'm from Chicago, and he's from Chicago, so I felt it was only right that I actually had to comment because.
I thought you were from Rosemont. I thought you were from Rosemont this whole time.
No, Chicago.
My bad.
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
From Chicago, Illinois. Winging. How much you weigh, Corbin? How much you weigh?
I'm not gonna do the intro.
Michael Corbin. All right, Corbin, take it away, buddy. Take it away. Let him have it. Let it rip.
It's just kind of funny how people are still defending him. Like, oh my God, Punk is he is so brave for chasing a dream and getting in there. And well, none of us why are people supporting that he got in there and got his shit pushed in? I just don't understand that. He chased a dream. What did he fucking do? He's had 2 years to train, and that's the effort he puts in. He put in a half-assed effort in training.
To be fair, dude, nothing to do with effort. I mean, that's the fight game, bro. Sometimes fights happen that way. There's a lot of guys out there, dude. Perfect. I'll give you the best example. Jose Aldo fought Conor McGregor literally almost a year ago, right? Yeah, almost a year ago. And Jose Aldo went in there. He trained his ass off, what have you. He got dropped in 13 seconds. It happens. It fucking happens. It's just the way.
This is someone who's coming in with all this fanfare and he's never done it before. So
dude, this is the way. Put it this way, dude. I'll give you an example. Okay. I can train MMA, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, the works, wrestling, grappling, for 4 years. There's a probability my first fight I get knocked the fuck out. It happened. That's the way the fight game goes, bro. Just the way it goes sometimes.
I understand.
Put it this way. Put it this way. If Punk would have won, people would have said, "Oh, he fought a nobody. He fought a bum, a Mickey Gall."
People would have said that no matter who won. Like I had said before, and a lot of other people have said, actually, I stole it from Joe Numbers of the Wrestling Soup podcast. Shameless plug.
Shout out to Anthony Missionary Thomas and Joey Numbers. Shout out.
Yeah, because Joey basically said that when it's around the time this fight was coming, he's like, no matter who wins, pro wrestling loses. If Punk wins, it's the fight was rigged. It was scripted. He fought a nobody. It's a tomato can. They set him up easy. They gave him an easy. They gave him an easy person to fight. If Punk lost, it's look at the phony wrestler trying to be a tough guy. He was, no matter who won, the outcome was never going to be good for professional wrestling because wrestling fans were going to be mocked either way by the fight community, by the fight fans, by the the MMA community, basically.
I mean, vice versa though, and the wrestling fans as well. Because again, and I'm talking to you like this because again, I have friends on both sides of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
I do too. I got friends who are wrestling fans and friends who are no longer wrestling fans, but probably used to be wrestling fans.
No. And again, listen, I got friends that are combat sports fans, boxing, MMA, kickboxing, what have you, right? And the way they look at it, like, yeah, here's a guy that didn't earn the opportunity to fight here, and he got it because of his name. And quite frankly, at the same time, neither did Mickey Gall. You know, but at the end of the day, that's the fight game. It happened. There's a lot of guys out there that train, that prepare themselves for the most important fight of their lives. You want to know what happens? Either A, they get choked the fuck out in one round, or they get dropped at the final second of the last round. It happens. That's the way the fight game goes.
Right, but they're professionals. They do this for kind of a living.
It doesn't matter though, bro. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a professional. If you're, put it this way, I'll give you another example. Okay, UFC 118. That says early in the show. James Lights Out Tony. You ever heard of him? You ever heard of him?
I have not heard of him.
That's why I know you don't know shit about boxing. I'm just kidding. I love you, brother. So James Lights Out Tony was this boxing sensation many years ago, right? Won multiple titles in boxing. Right? Knockout. That's why they call him Lights Out, right? And he went on this tantrum, went on this whole tour trying to get Dana White to pretty much send him to a fight because in his eyes, MMA fighters couldn't compete with boxers. MMA fighters can't punch like boxers. MMA fighters can't beat boxers. And Dana White was like, all right, fine, you want to fight MMA? We'll fight MMA. But your first fight in is against Randy Couture. That was his first fight against Randy fucking Couture. And you want to know what happened in that fight? Want to know what happened? Randy took him
Boxer
down.
lost?
No. Randy took him down, got him on his back in like 18 seconds.
So the boxer guy lost then.
The boxer lost, literally, but by submission though.
Okay, I get it.
So there you go.
When I saw the thing online, I just don't think Punk took that seriously at all. I just think that this was just him doing it to him, and Dana agreed to do this one thing, and Dana wanted Dana just agreed to do this little publicity stunt, and because he wanted a big buy rate for UFC, because he needed a new star he needed somewhat of a new star for his company. So either Punk
I wouldn't say new star, because honestly, right now their star is Conor McGregor. That's their star right now. That's their moneymaker right now. If anything, they just needed people. They just needed butts in the seats for this event. They needed ticket sales. They needed pay-per-view buys. And granted, it happened. Granted, it wasn't like the best, like it wasn't McGregor numbers and shit like that. But nonetheless, it happened. You know, Punk went out there, got, like I said, and I hate hear the thing about it. So I'll be honest, dude. I get a lot of you want to talk about CM Punk and what happened, but honestly, I hate coming off as repetitive. I really do.
Well, I just felt I was obligated to do so since he's the hometown boy, and that's kind of a hot topic at the moment. And I just don't feel like he took it seriously at all. I just felt this was just a publicity stunt for Punk. It was just him doing something because of his name.
No, dude, listen. I think, to be fair, dude, I think he took it serious.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't really think he cared. I think he treated this almost like some people treat professional wrestling. If they're an indie wrestler, but they wrestle on the weekends only, so more so it's just like a hobby for them.
Dude.
This to me felt like what Punk. This is like Punk basically checking something off a bucket list because of some sort of midlife crisis.
To be fair, dude.
This is like his.
To be fair, if he didn't really care about it, there's like a one-time thing on, like you're saying, he could have never fought. He could have just said, you know what, fuck this, train, do the documentary, and just be done with it. Fuck, I'm not gonna fight no more. He could have done that, but again, like I said,
I don't think he is gonna fight. I don't think he is gonna fight again.
I think he will. I think he will. He shouldn't. He should not. At his age, he should not be fighting no more. He should not. But to be fair, if he wants to, do it on the small regional circuit. You know what I mean? RFA, Titan FC, King of the Cage, if that's even still around, I don't even know. Bellator, I just don't know. Fuck that. The Bellator doesn't make stars. I'm sorry. Bellator is the TNA of MMA from 2010.
I just think that he kind of treated it. This was him more so wanting to try something because of him having some sort of a midlife crisis. This was like his, really expensive sports car, or him going out with some hot blonde that's like, old enough to be his daughter. He's, think that he's the fucking man all of a sudden again because he wants to be able to just not feel like he's so old anymore. It basically felt like, he was doing it because of some sort of midlife crisis that kind of kicked in pretty early for him. That's what it felt like to me. So, I mean, I just wanted to kind of talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. But so what else you got, brother? What else you got?
Well, no, I don't know. What do you guys? I kind of wanted to. I guess we touched on this when I called in for Backlash. I call in a lot, folks. It's. I don't know why. I just do. Don't judge me. Bray Wyatt again, kind of basically just shit a lot for some reason. The guy looked up on his. You guys think there's any hope for him to recover from this, or do you think he's basically just there now to put people over for the rest of his career?
He's there to put people over, unless they do a swerve, have him win the Rumble, which I doubt they will. But to be honest, he's right now their jobber of the WWE. If anything, what they should do is someone should send him the official jobber shirt from OK Fade Pros and T Store. That's what they should do right now.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate,
I'll just say this right now. I am currently wearing that actual jobber shirt, and it is very comfortable.
Oh, I believe so. I'm right now. What I'm wearing is the official TEAMHEEL podcast T-shirt, which you guys can go get over at Spreadshirt. Go to teamheelpodcast.spreadshirt.com. We have different shirts, different sizes. We go up to 5 that we ship all over the world. There you go.
Yes, and if you hurry right now, folks, if you buy one T-shirt from Heel Steven on his store at heelsteven.spreadshirt.com.
Actually, that's how much I know you don't give a fuck. You just read whatever the site is. It's teamheelpodcast.spreadshirt.com.
I got confused for a second. Excuse the fuck out of me. I'm not necessarily. Excuse me for not being perfect here, Mr. Steven. I apologize. Team Heel Podcast Spreadshirt. If you buy one shirt from the Team Heel Podcast Spreadshirt store, you'll get 1,000 shirts free, and as an added bonus, Steven will personally autograph every single one of those shirts and ship them out to you personally.
And,
wow.
and on the side piece, Michael Corbin.
Are you gonna lick all those stamps, Steven?
And on the side note, Michael Corbin.
He'll do it all.
Michael Corbin will.
If you're lucky, he might even ship himself out to you while wearing one of the shirts.
And if you're lucky, Michael Corbin will.
Shirt to you
And if you're lucky, Michael Corbin will mail them out to you wearing a gorilla suit and giving you a lap dance while he's doing the nay-nay. Just saying.
Well, why would I do that? The shirts are
you can drag them.
You're closer to a lot of people. You're in New York. The shirts are probably going to come to you.
I'm from New Jersey.
Your shirt stuff, anyways.
Hey, listen.
It's your store, anyways.
So, gentlemen.
Why would they be coming to me?
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Corbin. We're going to wrap up the show because CWC about to start, dude. So
2 minutes,
all
6
right.
minutes, and I gotta go get my munchies.
All right, buddy. So take it easy,
Corbin.
Corbin.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Check out Wrestling Soup on Thursday, and also wanted to promote a friend of mine's new show that he's got out, new podcast. It's on Podbean. It's called the 24/7 Rule, hosted by Osby Tomlin and his friend, I think Chris or something. But it's called the 24/7 Rule. It's on Podbean. They've done 4 shows already. Go check them out. 24/7 Rule. So the title changes weekly. That's their tagline. So go check them out. And make sure to follow Steven on Twitter at HeelSteven. Follow the show on Twitter at Team Heel Podcast. And make sure to buy the T-shirts. Remember, if you buy one Team Heel Podcast T-shirt,
good night, Corbin.
And Steven will on.
Good night, Corbin.
Take it easy.
Good night, Corbin. All right, we're going to wrap up the show. We thank you all for tuning in live. If you're new to the channel, new to the podcast, hit that subscribe button. This podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, and also over at SoundCloud. Before I wrap up the show, I want to say one thing, though. In life, there's a lot of people that may not like you. There's a lot of people that will say that they're cool with you, but deep down, they'll just talk shit behind you. There's a lot of people out there that say that you'll never amount to anything. It's always your job to prove people wrong. I'm aware that a lot of people don't like me. I'm aware there's a lot of people out there that probably are just something to talk shit about me. But at the end of the day, just put your head up, people. Put your head up. That's all I want to say about that. All right. Now, I'm all my people here promote your social media. So, Cousin Walter, where the fuck can they find you?
On Twitter. My Ham Walter, mostly everywhere. That's my username. YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a vid, but
you never do a vid. You never do a video.
I never do one.
School's first, bro. I understand.
One day I will.
I'll believe when I see it. I'll believe when I see it, brother. I'll believe when I see it in my sub box. All right. Just don't spam it to me. All right. Where can they find you? What's the channel, though, bro? What's the channel? Let them know.
Oh shit! Sorry. YouTube.com/TEAMHEEL.
The most inconsistent, unprolific, undedicated YouTuber you'll ever know. Trust me.
It's
Dory.
been 2 years. So,
yeah, I know. So Dory, let them know where can they find you and your humble little podcast, the Wrestling Podcast, Wrestling World Podcast Network.
Wrestling World Podcast Network. So if you'd like to follow me, I am on Twitter at DNHearts. I always love interacting with wrestling fans, so make sure you follow me and tweet me. You can follow our podcast at Wrestle World Cast without the O on Twitter. Again, as Steven said, I am from the Wrestling World Podcast Network, and we're on Twitter, Google Play, Stitcher, all that fun stuff. The links are in his description. And I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me to come on tonight and talk some pro wrestling. And I'd hate to cut this short, but I'm going to bounce at CWC.
I'm actually going to wrap up the show right now. So you can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, Follow us on Twitter at TEAMHEEL Podcast. Check out the Facebook page as well. And yeah, I am Peruvian strong style, and we are out like Janet Jackson's titties on a Super Bowl Sunday. Good night, everyone. Hit the music, people. Peace.
This is a Chucky Beat production.